The bell above the door chimed softly as Bill Gates stepped inside the small bookstore. The scent of aged paper filled the air, a nostalgic contrast to the digital world he had helped shape. The wooden shelves stretched from floor to ceiling, packed with books, some new, some so old their titles had faded. Yet, despite its charm, the silence was heavy. Behind the counter sat an elderly man, his silver hair neatly combed, his hands tracing numbers in a worn ledger. A single desk lamp cast a dim glow over the counter. His eyes, tired yet kind, flickered up at the sound of a customer. "Welcome," he said, forcing a polite smile. "Let me know if you need anything." Bill nodded, his gaze moving over the store. No other customers, no movement, just empty aisles and the weight of a business struggling to survive. Before we continue this story, let us know where you're watching from. If you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow we have another special story for you. Bill stepped closer. "Nice place you've got here," the old man chuckled, glancing at the shelves. "It was." He hesitated, then sighed. "I've had this store for 40 years, but these days, people don't buy books like they used to." His fingers tapped the open ledger. Debt. More than he wanted to admit. Bill didn't need to ask. He knew the look of a man watching his life's work slip away. And suddenly, this wasn't just another bookstore. It was a story worth saving. Bill Gates ran his fingers over the spines of old hardcover books, their worn edges telling stories beyond the words inside. The scent of aged paper filled the air, a comforting yet fragile reminder of the past. He turned back to the elderly owner. "You said you've been here 40 years?" The man nodded, a wistful smile forming. "Started this place with my wife. We wanted a space where people could get lost in stories." His smile faded. But times changed. Big chains, online shopping. Hard to compete when people buy books with a click. Bill's gaze swept across the shelves, full but untouched. The math was clear. His fingers brushed against a familiar title. A well-worn copy of The Great Gatsby. The edges were frayed, the spine cracked from years of use. It brought back a memory. "You know," Bill said, a small smile tugging at his lips, "I used to spend hours in bookstores like this when I was a kid. I wasn't the most outgoing kid in school, but books, they opened up the world for me, gave me ideas, changed the way I saw things." Howard looked up, curiosity flickering in his tired eyes. Bill tapped the book's cover lightly. Without bookstores like this, who knows how many kids might never get that chance? The old man hesitated, running a hand over the worn countertop. "I don't know if it's worth it anymore. Maybe it's time to let go." Bill shook his head. "No, bookstores like this matter. They remind people why stories are important." The old man exhaled slowly, his shoulders slightly less burdened than before. For the first time that night, a flicker of hope appeared in his eyes. But hope wasn't enough. Action was needed, and Bill was just the man to make it happen. The bookstore's dim lighting flickered slightly as Bill leaned against the counter, his mind already forming a plan. The old man, Howard, sighed, running a tired hand through his thinning gray hair. "I appreciate your kindness, Mr. Gates. But tech solutions? Online stores? Feels like a whole different world from this place." His voice was laced with both gratitude and resignation. Bill smiled slightly. "It doesn't have to be. You don't need to change the heart of this store, just the way people find it." Howard frowned. "And how exactly do you do that?" Bill pulled out his phone. First, we get you a website. A real one, not just a listing. You'll be able to sell books online, connect with local schools, maybe even start a monthly book club. People still love bookstores, Howard. They just need to know you exist. Howard hesitated, looking around at the quiet shelves. And you think people would come? Bill met his gaze. They will. But only if you believe in what you built. Howard swallowed, his fingers tapping against the counter. For the first time in years, the idea of fighting for his store seemed possible. Bill reached into his pocket, pulling out a business card. I'll have my team set everything up. No cost to you. Think of it as an investment in stories that still need to be told. Howard took the card, his fingers trembling slightly. You really believe in this place, don't you? Bill nodded. I believe in people who don't give up. The weight on Howard's shoulders didn't vanish, but it felt a little lighter. And for the first time in a long time, his bookstore had a future. The small bell above the bookstore's door jingled softly as Bill Gates stood near the register, watching Howard flip through a stack of papers, plans for the store's new website, details about online book orders, and community events. Howard exhaled, rubbing his temple. His fingers, calloused from years of handling books, trembled slightly as he traced the lines of the business plan Bill's team had put together. It was all real. I still can't believe this is happening, he murmured. Bill smiled. Believe it. You're about to show the world why this place still matters. Howard glanced around at the wooden bookshelves, the scent of aged paper and ink filling the air. For years, he had feared it would all fade into the past, like an old novel no one wanted to read anymore. But now, there was hope. The door creaked open, and a young woman stepped inside, drawn by the new sign Bill had helped design. Her eyes scanned the shelves with curiosity. Howard hesitated for just a second before straightening his shoulders. He wasn't just a man watching his store slip away anymore. He was a shopkeeper again. He cleared his throat. Welcome. Let me know if you need any recommendations. Bill met his gaze and gave a knowing nod. This wasn't just about saving a store, it was about keeping a legacy alive. As Howard walked toward his first new customer, Bill stepped outside into the crisp evening air. He glanced back through the window one last time, the soft glow of the shop lights, the books waiting to be picked up, and a man who had just found his purpose again. A small smile crossed his lips. Another story was about to be written. Let me ask you, have you ever had someone believe in you when you didn't believe in yourself? Tell us in the comments, and if this story inspired you, subscribe now, because tomorrow we have another powerful story just for you.